Welcome back everyone to the BD1P random character streak. Today is going to be a random tainted character run for win number, hopefully 196. Today's question of the day, put your answer in the comments down below if you feel like it is going to be, what game do you think had the biggest impact on the indie gaming market and why? Let's get started here. Good character maybe? I don't want to play as anybody. Okay, great character honestly. Seed is going to be, by the way, KJMA1Z7P. There's a lot of indie games out there. Everybody knows that. It's one of the most, I think, like, robust markets because indie isn't really a genre. It's more of just like a description of the team behind the game. So there's going to be so many indie games out there. And a lot of them have had huge impacts. I mean, when you think of indie, though, you think of games like Cuphead, Isaac, Undertale, stuff that kind of stands out as being huge successes. But I think I want to look at what inspired those games to come about, because you can trace it back to, sure, like 2016 probably being one of the most influential indie years of all time. You had Undertale, I think Firewatch came out that year, Gungeon came out that year. We had some Isaac updates happen around that time as well. But you can go back even further, I think, to a year like 2014 when games like Meat Boy came out. Castle Crashers might have been a bit earlier than 2014. I think that was 2011 was Castle Crashers maybe. But you had games like Meat Boy. You had a lot of these starts of these markets. For example, One Shot came out that year. One Shot's one of those, I don't want to say it's underground, but it's one of those smaller indie titles that focuses more on the story element of a game, much like Undertale did with its whole metagaming and stuff like that. But I don't know necessarily if games like One Shot are really pioneered the market that much, because before One Shot there were AAA games like, for example, Earthbound or Mother that had that whole RPG element in it. And One Shot is kind of known for having that. I call it a walking. You just walk around in that game, solve a couple of really easy puzzles, and that's pretty much it. It's not my cup of tea, but I recognize the influence it had on games like Undertale for sure. But really, it traces all back to, like, some of the earliest games to ever exist, right? Because those archetypes of it being an RPG or a walking sim trace back to games like Earthbound and like Mother. But if we're going to talk strictly indie games influence, I don't know what I would say, honestly. It's really hard to... we can't really do anything on this floor, can we? I really wanted to get, like, one bomb for this, and we still can't even open it, sadly. But I think One Shot kind of pioneered the road for a game like Undertale to succeed and get super funded by Kickstarter. And I think that 2016, especially being Undertale, DDLC, and games like Cuphead, are really the kind of cornerstones of indie gaming. Now, sure, there are other games, like, for example, Minecraft was a 2011 indie game that is one of the most popular games of all time. So you can't knock Minecraft, but I don't really think Minecraft when I think of oh boy. Oh boy. Okay, well, you do want to grab How to Jump here, and it's going to be an interesting room for you, I'm realizing. We're going to be in here for a second trying to navigate our way out of that situation, but we're going to gain a lot of stuff here. Most notably, we're going to gain a devil item for this floor, and we're going to have quite possibly the best book in the game right there. Now, before we start re-rolling in here, we are going to have to take How to Jump so we can find a way to get a bunch of keys or flight before we start accessing all of that behind us. So give it a quick moment. But when I think indie, I don't really think of Minecraft anymore, because Minecraft was bought out by a bigger studio. Much like Rocket League, a 2016 indie game, but it was bought out by Microsoft, making it no longer indie. So does the game still have to be indie to count, or can it also be a AAA success? Because a game like Rocket League did take off. We'll go Flight? Not Flight. Did take off before it became a AAA studio. But a lot of that longevity comes from it getting regular updates with a funding more full studio. So I really don't know if you can consider Rocket League as one of the indie cornerstones. A lot of these games get bought out and no longer become indie. Minecraft, again, Rocket League. All of these games were cornerstones, to reiterate my point once more, that I don't think can be counted, again, as cornerstones anymore. And when I think of indie, for me, the first couple of games that come to mind are Meat Boy, Isaac, Fez, and Undertale. And I haven't even played Fez at all, but it comes to mind because I know it's a very big success, and it was a huge platforming leap for indie games, much like Meat Boy was. It's kind of crazy to think how many indie games before we had this whole like RPG trope were just like really hard platformers. Like Meat Boy and Celeste are both really hard platformers, as well as Fez. I wouldn't say it's hard, but it definitely has some level of puzzle and thinking difficulty to it. That was an insanely good dodge. Well, that is Flight. So you do want to grab this for sure. And you can't take anything in there. That's okay, though, because we have a Soul of Eden for our Dango library with Flight now. That was the perfect situation for us. You walk back in. You grab the good old book. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Okay, well, there's damage and HP back. There's a One Piece Guppy. I'm not going to touch Magic Skin. Those all became devil items. Holy shit, that's crazy. I'm not going to touch... We can't touch Magic. We can pop it once. We'll see it in the run again and again. I want to have a good Limiga Town run. I don't want to have anything else. We'll go to our Cursed Room as well, though, first off. But you got to kind of trace it back to not the start of indie gaming, but more, I think, the first games to really get into the market. And I think that's thanks to sites like Newgrounds and stuff like that. We can also, can we grab this key or no? Like from, we can, oh, we can. Don't be a fool. There you go, perfect. Like thanks to sites like Newgrounds that help popularize a lot of Nicholas's stuff and Edmund's stuff for games like Isaac and Meat Boy, and the end is nigh, all that good stuff. But yeah, I would say that I don't really consider a lot of the earlier titles to be the cornerstones. They didn't really do a lot for the market. It was more just for the future games. If that makes sense. I'm not trying to belittle the accomplishments of games like that, but not many people know about One Shot, but a lot of people know about Undertale. And if you had to say, even though One Shot probably had some inspiration on Undertale, Undertale did more for the indie gaming market by a long shot. And games like Omori as well definitely helped popularize it. And again, Omori is not my cup of tea, but it does have an indisputable influence. Papers, Please as well. One of those really niche, hard-hitting storytelling games. I haven't played it personally, but I've seen playthroughs, and it looks to be a really amazing game. It's crazy. And I think if I had to narrow it down to one game, though, and truly nail what is indie, I'm going to say that out of all the games I already mentioned, one of the only ones that is actually truly indie is Undertale. Let me explain myself. There is this thing in gaming. Obviously, everyone knows the AAA market. Everyone knows the indie market. But there is a third separate market that often gets confused with the indie market. I'll say this. Games like Isaac, games like Gungeon, those are technically not indie games. I'm not trying to be a purist here, but when I think of indie, I think of studios that had essentially no company funding, and it was pretty much just Kickstarter money or their own, blood and tears. When a game gets sponsored or funded by a larger studio, such as Nicholas funding Isaac or Devolver funding Gungeon, it is now what is called a AA game. It's a real term. I'm not making this shit up. AA is a real studio term. When a studio like Devolver funds a game like Phantom Abyss or Gungeon or Inscription even, it should not have the same title as indie. Because a game like Undertale, which was funded exclusively by just Kickstarter, to me, is a lot more indie than the game that's getting tons of money from one of these publishing studios. Now, the studio itself that's publishing might be indie, but it no longer makes the game indie. Because here's my gripe with it, right? Is that there are so many games out there. Oh, we have Chaos. There are so many games out there that don't get any funding, that don't get any recognition, because on a top 10 indie games of 2020 list won't include these games that didn't have the proper funding to really pop off. When you look at these lists that are like, here's the top 10 games, indie games of 2021 or some shit like that, it's always these games that had massive funding. So how are these smaller devs supposed to get recognition and supposed to get funding from these studios if they don't have the proper tools to do their job correctly, and therefore are not going to get recognition in these media articles? If let's say for hypothetical reasons, like a game, we'll call this game like Star Mod. It's made by one guy in his basement. It's an incredible game, but because he doesn't have the money or the I guess, what's the proper word? Like, the media attention from having a game be published by Devolver and Nicalis, that game Star Mod does not get a ton of attention because there's no way to put it out in the media properly. There's no funding to hire a team and make the game more professional. It just ends up being pretty much undiscovered. Now, a game, let's say this game is called, like, Milkfest. How's that sound? A Milkfest comes out. And it's published by, you know, Devolver or some shit like that. That game now has access to tons of media outlets to get their game's name out there through journalism and YouTube videos and sponsorships. And it also has funding to get a whole studio on board for sprite work, design, code, even its own marketing. And because of that, it has a more likely chance to succeed. You see where I'm going with this? It doesn't seem necessarily fair, right? That a game it doesn't get enough recognition because it's smaller, and the indie game lists are including games that aren't technically indie, making it really hard for these smaller devs to stand out. And once in a blue moon, you'll have devs like Toby Fox who just blow up because their game is amazing, but imagine how many games are out there that don't get the recognition because, you know, they're just simply too small. Oh, great, Ludo. My favorite combo is a Lilith character with Ludo. Everybody knows I love this build. Whatever, it's not a big deal. But you know what I'm saying there? Like, it doesn't seem fair to me personally. And I think the only way to fix it is in the media, is in the marketing for a game. I don't think when you're making a top 10 indie games of 2016, you should be including all these super highly published and studio-driven games alongside these one-man army type deals, because then it makes the success of these one-man armies seem smaller, and it ends up paling in comparison to these games that have tons of funding, if that makes sense. I'm not saying these games are bad, by the way. Isaac and Gungeon are both two incredible games. I'm just saying that in terms of getting other developers out there and seeing more unique ideas, we have to make a change here pretty soon. And that's going to come in the form of drawing that strict line between AA and indie. Because I've played a lot of games recently that have been strictly just indie games. And they're really, really good. Games like Loot Train. Games like Chrono Breach Ultra. These are games that I think personally deserve a lot of recognition. The problem is, it's just one person or one small team with no funding working on it, making it really hard for these games to truly hit their stride. And if we had more of a media dedicated to propping up these true indie games, I think we'd have a much more diverse market and a lot more cool ideas in this marketplace. That's personally, again, it's just me. End of the day, you know, all these games that are getting, you know, marketing, such as Inscryption, are fantastic games. Inscryption is my #1 game of last year, even over Repentance. I love it so fucking much. So I'm glad that game got a lot of attention. And I would say Inscryption is probably a true indie title because it didn't get a ton of funding from Devolver. It got some, and it got some marketing recognition, but it was mostly just to have Devolver's name on the project opposed to anything else. So I will say that I do think that Inscryption probably qualifies on that line of being true indie versus AA. Same with a game like Phantom Abyss, which is, again, Devolver published. Phantom Abyss is really small still, and the marketing for that game has not been that great. So I would consider it to still be treading more towards indie, but then the question becomes, where do you draw that line? Where do you draw the line between AA and indie? Because there has to be somewhere you have to cut it off, the wafer. Thank you, Le Megatown Chaos. That was incredible. I'll pop it. All right. Well, we gulped perfection. That's all right, I guess. Could have been way better for us. Bad trip does kind of sting. That is great to have, though, either way. You know, I think you guys know what I'm saying at this point, that I think we need to give more direct attention to these smaller developers so that they can truly make their projects stand out and shine. And they aren't really getting that recognition right now, which really does suck. But at the end of the day, again, a lot of these great games that are studio published are getting a lot of great attention, and I could not be happier for them. I cannot imagine my life without Inscryption, honestly. That game, I sunk hours into Inscryption every single day when that came out. I think I played, like, for 6 hours on the same day of its release. I was so excited for it. And I would go back and I would do it again. I definitely would. If you have not played Inscryption or you don't want to buy the game, I do have a Let's Play of it on this channel if you want to give that a shot. No pressure, though. No pressure. That was a while ago. Yeah, we're getting some really awkward pills this run, I gotta say. A lot of neutral ones and a lot of just kind of like non-effective ones. Hoping for a devil deal this floor so we can use our strength card and our newfound 2 red heart HP. Miter is also huge. I think Chaos makes the Wisps also completely random, which is nice. We can pop this book whenever we feel like it, making it quite more useful. I also wanted to say, I did some thinking last night about what I was talking about in yesterday's video, about making a separate channel just for the streaks, and I'm still going to be doing that, but in kind of a different way. I'm going to keep the streaks on this channel. I'm going to move everything else to a different channel, because I feel like a lot of people watch my videos out of convenience more than anything else, and to move the streaks around and not, make a huge deal out of it would have a lot of normal viewers not finding them. So I'm going to instead make this channel, come March, just exclusively tied to the streak. I have 2 more edited videos planned for this channel. I have the Sinvicta one and the other kind of secret one I don't really want to mention by name right now. And those will be the last 2 non-streak videos on this channel for the foreseeable future. That everything else, all the mod reviews, all the video essays, all the stream highlights will be going to a new channel. Oh my god, it's Sacred Orb. It's also just called BD1P. I'm going to rename this one come March to BD1P Daily Streaks, I think. In quotations or some kind of fucking bracket. Please be good. Yo, it's okay. It's at least okay. Chaos is actually insane for us right now. If we had magic skin, can you imagine the build we'd have right now? Maybe I should have grabbed it over this book. But you know what? It's not a big deal. It's not a huge deal. You don't need... Actually, you know what? As long as we keep Chaos, this is going to be insane for us. So we will keep this. Again, praying for my deal this floor. If the game so allows it. Just don't lose Chaos before next floor's shop, or this trinket becomes a whole hell of a lot more useless. But I am going to make a new channel. I actually already made the channel. It's linked down below if you want to give it a sub. And be one of the first founding members of the new BD1P channel. But the decision comes from a place of just wanting to diversify myself more and not fall victim to the algorithm and its evils. Because holy shit, is the YouTube algo still dog shit. Still completely awful. I talked about it at length yesterday in a community post I made and in Discord if you want to watch or look at both of those to see a more in-depth take on either of those things. But the algorithm punishes variety, and I kind of hate that. Why did that thing spawn right there? They're not that good. I wonder if Sneeze, though, ooh, wouldn't be bad. Because... we're already tapping. So yeah, Sneeze, it's good to have Sneeze, I guess. You know what? I'm for that. We will just head on down, I think. With the Void card, the Black Rune for getting some extra stats done here. But just to reiterate again, you're not getting any less content. It's all going to be more content. The same plus extra, just in a different place. I don't want to be punished for trying to do different things anymore because it makes doing this job a whole lot less fun when I can't do what I want to do for videos. So I want to have a clean slate there so I can post, variety from the get-go and not be stuck in literally just posting Isaac. That's my goal at least, and I think we're going to hit that point here fairly soon. So if you want, the channel is down below. Give it a sub, give it an I was here first, and I will appreciate that a lot because it'll make the channel grow faster, and I can monetize my videos faster and keep making a living doing what I like to do. Only if you want to, though. Again, no pressure. HP up, we have a lot of red hearts. Thank God we have Devil Deal precedence on this run. Oh, baby. That Soul of Eden on that library was just killer. I guess we can walk in here. I'm going to buy both for the fun of it. I don't like Ocular Rift at all, but it is pretty funny to have, I think. And now we can take Modeling Clay. Because we don't need Rib of Greed anymore. We could go for the Sacrifice Room, which is an interesting play. And there's PhD. That's amazing, because we have so many goddamn pills on this run. I think I might actually sacrifice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11? I'll do it. I'll do it. We're going to win the run anyways. I think we'll make some risk to it. We'll add some extra risks, some more chances for extra items and more stats through Black Rune. We'll try it. We will try it. Okay, so there's one black rune item. There's going to be 2 here pretty soon. Hold on. Okay. Good. There's another one. There's a lot of soul hearts for us. And we kill this guy. We get 3 pedestals for our black rune, which is going to be actually huge. Oh my god, Ocular Rift. Please don't. All right, so now you just have to... black rune. And you know what? We're going to have another 20-minute run and make everybody freak out in the comments that we lost the streak. I like doing these funny things here, all right? Ooh. Does the stairway work in the first room? Damn, it does not. Let's have a really fast sub-20-minute run here in game time if we can. We have the build to do it, I think, for sure. We have a very, very strong build. Plus, we're going to get, hopefully, an Algiz rune for our final fight. The faster we go, the better. It's going to be great. It sucks for revenue, but at the same time, dude, it's very funny to me. To make everyone think, oh my god, he lost the fucking streak. No, not my BD1P, the greatest player of all time. I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. We're going to be fine. 1840, we have about a minute left to find the boss and beat it. We're not going to get a sub 20, but, you know, it's the thought that counts. It's the thought that counts. Extra chest. Infamy is great. Left, please? Yo, maybe the right way here, though, which will be impressive for us and our really usually shit pathing. Jumper cables. Come on. Keep it going. Oh, no, no cage. We're going the wrong way. This always happens to me, man. I want a tally of how many times I choose the wrong direction on the cathedral and the dark room. These are my 2 most brutal floors for that. Thank you. Wow. Goodbye, Dark Bum. No hits, by the way, yet. I wish Stairway worked when you picked it up in the first room of a floor. It would have made this floor a lot more fun, I think, but... beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Ow, there's our first hit. I don't know my HP, which is kind of scary. Hoping for a Dagaz rune from my rune bag and or an Algiz. Keep dodging. Keep dodging. Ow, alright. That was great. I'm going to kill both of these guys real quick and just focus on hitting. Dark Bum, we lost a lot of damage there. Maybe the wrong play to come down here. A lot of our DPS is based off of temporary wisps that we have, which is not great. Dark Bum, go. I hate you so much. I think we'll still be okay, though, believe it or not. Because the Fetus does, like, 3.5 times your damage, so that's, like, 20 damage per hit. That's pretty good. That's pretty alright, I think. And PhD for gulping that. Okay, sure. A bit dangerous because we can't see what our item is going to be from modeling clay, but, you know, that's the life we chose, I guess. And we will get... oh, nice Gimpy drop. A charge here. For Demon Baby. Alright. And Soul of Eve for the final boss is actually pretty nice. It does do some crazy damage sometimes. Dark Bum. Feel free to go ham here. Nothing yet. We do have one half heart we can go back for earlier in the floor, but it's not the biggest worry to me. Whoa. Gotta stay safe. Gotta stay safe. Okay, black heart's huge. Little scary. Little scary sometimes. Not knowing my HP does make me a little worried, but the big drops from Gimpy here are making me feel so much better about it. Anything? The Fool card. If we get into a bad room, sure, we can pop that. I don't feel bad about that at all. We should get a jumper cables charge after we kill this guy. Wait, what hit me there? What? I don't even know what hit me there. I'm not going to question it, though. Probably a straight tier. Oh, hey, Parasite. All right. Sure. Fantastic item. Actually amazing. My voice is still gone from the 12-hour streams, by the way, if you're wondering. I still cannot properly talk. I apologize. It's getting better slowly but surely. Please no. I hate Ocular so much, dude. It sucks so bad. Dark Bum? And there's the boss fight. All right. I got hit there. Okay, you know what? That's fine. I think we're still going to be okay. What is hitting me, dude? I don't need that. All right, let's just walk in and do it. I don't know my HP right now. What is... okay, I don't even know what got me there. I'm so confused. Like, visually, nothing is hitting me, I feel like. Like, what was that? I'm actually so fucking confused right now. Is it ocular ripped bullshit? What the hell? Get in that goddamn chest, dude. I don't know what the hell was hitting me, but we're fine. We won the run. Sub 30 minutes. If you enjoyed that speed run, a like and a comment goes a long way for a smaller channel like mine. In the meantime, guys, I have been BD1P. Peace out and goodbye.